Welcome everyone to another exciting episode. Today I am joined live from Kelowna in Canada by Renata from Festivals Kelowna.
Hello.
So we're going to get straight into it. To firstly tell me all about yourself and Festivals Kelowna.
Well, thank you very much for asking us to be a part of this. I am Renata Mills. I'm the executive director with our nonprofit organization. It's called Festivals Kelowna. We produce festivals in our community. Our organization was founded in 2007. It was based on the idea that the city of Kelowna, who are big supporters of community events, was looking for a unique and impactful and effective way to deliver multiple events. And by the events I'm talking about are ones that either the city started or supported or was actively involved in, use our resources more effectively so that they could go further. So our niche is free, all age appropriate, outdoor, community focused events. We have a core series of events or programs that we produced every year, and that includes our Celebrate Canada Day Kelowna Festival. We also have a program that runs year-round, and that's our Kelowna Buskers program. We have a program we introduced about 6 years ago called Pianos in Parks, and we have a concert called Parks Alive. We have a visual arts event that has been held in early August each year. We cap off our year with a first night celebration called Valley First New York New Year's Eve.
What was this year going to look like for you?
With each of our programs, often comes down to what are the really cool performing artists on our stages, because that's the piece that changes year over year, and we get the ability to work with some amazing live performing artists. We were actively involved with the 2020 Memorial Cup. The Stanley Cup for junior hockey is essentially the best way to describe it. So Kelowna was going to host that in May. So we were going to do a big concert. We had a family zone with live entertainment. We had a festival tent outside the arena. We had so many cool things organized. And they made the heartbreaking decision after us working on it for over 2 years that we just could not hold it in the current situation. Another event that I know has been canceled and postponed was the Kelowna Fringe Festival, which is fairly new and growing and young. To pull the pin on it for this.
So let's talk about the guidance. As festival producers, what do you think about guidance that's coming from governments? Do you think it's helpful at the moment, or are you a bit in limbo?
You know what? It's both. We strong partners with the city of Kelowna, and our relationship with their staff and their leadership team is very strong. And I can't emphasize too strongly how wonderful they are to work with. And they agree with us. They're ever hopeful that we can do something, a version of our events, besides Canada Day, which itself is too large to be able to expect to proceed with at 60,000 plus people. But we're still hopeful, and the guidance that we're receiving is, if nothing else, moral support. Everybody's in limbo, and I think sometimes misery loves company, as my mom used to say, where everyone's in the same boat, right? As event producers, in normal times, we know there's some uncertainty when it comes to, are you going to hit your revenue marks? Are all the pieces going to come together? And sometimes it's a lot of pressure if you're in an individual event and you're not sure if things are going to work.
So let's talk about your communication. Why did you think it was important to come out with the answers for the questions that you put? I think it's 6 questions. Why was it important to be transparent?
And so it was important for us early on to reaffirm our, again, organizational philosophy that it's not over till it's over. So we wanted people to know, look, we know this is scary. We know this is uncertain. We're going to try every variation on the ability to proceed with our events until we cannot. And I think it also kept our staff feeling motivated and positive in the face of uncertainty. The beauty of the free programming that we do is we know ahead of the game how are we going to generate the revenues, and we identify it. There's very little question mark around where our revenues are coming from, and we can pivot if our numbers aren't being achieved. And so truthfully, when the announcement started to come that you could not hold events or you couldn't hold certain size of events, we still had the ability, and still do, to be quite honest, at this stage, to modify and change our events. The conversation we were having this morning. So here we are mid-April, where Canada Day would normally be July 1st. We know that that's not going to happen, but our Parks Alive program, which is the series of free concerts all summer, we could reduce the number of shows. Say they relax the restrictions in mid-July. Well, we could probably pull together our concert series pretty quick. It's very important that people have some sense of what you're doing, but also to have a bit of hope. So I view our role as one that keeps people happy and provides some new experiences. And we just want to be hopeful that, that we'll overcome this sooner than later.
If I can just touch upon two things that you just said there, hope and pivoting. So pivot seems to be the word of event producers at the moment.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. So let's just talk about that pivot, and just how you would pivot, and let's talk about how also have you thought about virtual, because would you be able to deliver the same experience?
We, as staff, don't feel virtual will be the route to go for us. Our niche is that we do outdoor live entertainment. The experience would be very different. The other reasons that we don't think we would step into the virtual world is that others are already doing it. The market is quite saturated. And frankly, in this day and age, artists have already demonstrated that they don't need someone to be an intermediary between them and their audience. They can connect right with the audiences right then and there. So I would much rather direct our energies to either planning for the future or doing things that we can do. Same with our buskers program. There's an opportunity to enjoy the busker from a distance. You can throw coin into their guitar case or whatever it is, and some of them are set up with a tap feature. We look at the Parks Live program about, okay, so do we hold our concerts, we hold fewer of them in larger spaces to accommodate the physical distancing. Maybe we don't hold as many, maybe we hold shorter shows. So we're looking at a whole bunch of different ways that we can continue to do something in the summer that will keep people's spirits bright and allow them to come together as a community.
And it's clear from what you're saying is people will want to come back out, but there's also this other element, and I don't know what it's like in Kelowna, but when you go to the shop, you're mentally being told you cannot be 2 meters near someone. So you've got to then think, well, how do you change after being 8 weeks of being told you cannot high five, you can't hug, you can't be near? How do you tell someone, oh, it's okay?
The conversations we've been having is, and my personal view is, I think it's going to be 50-50. And so far it has been literally where will some people be very cautious about returning to large gatherings or public gatherings, period.
Yeah.
Then you'll have others that are just chomping at the bit to get out. Yeah. I'm not sure there'll be an in-between. I really think it's going to be literally one or the other.
Let's just go to the second word that you said. So pivot. Why hope? If you can just explain your thinking of giving people hope.
It's an organizational philosophy. It's a personal philosophy of mine. We don't give in very easily. We're all about the backup. Mm-hmm. And the other side of it is what we do is fun. We know our place in the universe when it comes to the kind of events that we produce. And so, stepping back a little bit, Kelowna and the Okanagan more broadly are very tourism focused and tourism dependent because of what we have to offer in this part of the world. And events play an important role in helping define a destination's brand.
How do you think it's going to really affect your tourism brand as an area?
Well, first of all, our Tourism Kelowna organization is phenomenal. They are just so on top of communicating what their alternatives are. But from what I gather is they're going to be relying more heavily on what they call rubber traffic. So basically people who can drive to the area as opposed to fly in. People will drive. And so there still will be lots of lifestyle, recreation-based activities that will draw people to our community. The wineries will be open and everybody is entrepreneurial, thinking of different ways they can adapt how they deliver their services. So it's very impressive to watch. We're very resilient as a people, I think.
It's been very interesting to see the change of people's business idea from one thing to another within the matter of sometimes hours. What's the opportunities for the future?
So it kind of is a reset in a way. But I was thinking about it and I would say, sticking to your question of what are the 3 opportunities, I would say, first of all, you're going to have an opportunity for increased audiences as they slowly open permissions to attend events, because people will be so enthusiastic and so grateful to be able to gather again and enjoy. I think the second side of it, from an event producer's side of things, when you're looking at your revenue streams, I think because businesses, once they figure out where they stand, again, once they loosen the strings and the economy slowly open up again, they're going to look to capture that consumer attention. So I think there's going to be tremendous opportunities for sponsorship and engagement. I think there will be lots of businesses that will want to capture those potentially increased audiences to get their product and services in front of all those people. And I think the third one is that performers, artists, suppliers, they will all be so hungry to get back out into the marketplace and to offer their services. And this is going to create a reset. It will adjust and reset the producer, supplier, presenter, artist relationship, because it's not like one side has more power than the other. Everybody's in the same boat. Everybody now needs to come from zero, get back into it. And I think conversations will be a little softer. It's going to level the playing field a bit and create a more mutually beneficial cooperative approach to producing.
But the challenges, what's your top 3 challenges?
One of the things that I've done for years is offer advice to events that want to start up or people that want to get into the event business. And one of the first questions I always ask when they come to me and they have an idea or a concept, and they want to just kind of get my feedback. The first question I ask them is, how are you paying for it? At the end of the day, you can have a million ideas, you can have a great concept, but how are you paying for it? And so I think that is one of the challenges, will be financial capacity of organizations, of sponsors, right? Your businesses. So that's going to be the big challenge to overcome. I think you may have some suppliers in smaller centers that just couldn't survive this downturn in the economies. The one that we always focus on is kind of like, what is the financial capacity? Again, we can scale up or down, but realistically, what's the ability of us to proceed? So far, we're pretty positive about the future. And I know that larger events, ticketed events, they are feeling it much harder than we have. Anybody can open a business and run it when times are good. It's when times are tough that you really find out what are the good ones, or who knows what they're doing, kind of thing. Again, when you talk about government support and guidance, I want to throw props to our different government supporters over the years and City of Kelowna staff, because they've been very aware of making sure that, events or programs that they support continue to feed a need that's actually there. I'm in for the long haul. I play the long game, as my friend says. And I try and explore every alternative before you finally pull the plug on something. But sometimes you just need to.
And I think your voice today has been very strong, and it's very clear that the passion that Festivals Kelowna and yourself have to deliver some amazing events. So I think that's kind of my set questions finished. Is there anything in particular you would like to add?
But I just want to reinforce that we're hopeful. We know, our provincial health minister in British Columbia, Dr. Bonnie Henry, keeps saying this is for now, this is not forever. And that's kind of how we're viewing it.
Let me just finish the recording there. So Renata, thank you so much. From Canada there, from Glasgow here, that was Festivals Kelowna as part of #The Conversation of Around the World in 80 Events.